first of all, you've been very active. Let me take it all the way back to when we all got sent home. You said, I'm going to do something about this. And that was what?
Yeah. So Local Human started because of COVID, essentially. I think we were like a lot of people, my partner and I, his name's Trevor Beck, and that we had all this extra time and we wanted to do something. So what we did, because we knew how we felt, we wanted to create a platform where other people could easily get involved. There's easy action steps. You can buy a shirt. And in the beginning, it was you can buy a shirt and you're going to donate 3 meals and a wellness check to a senior citizen using Meals on Wheels. Now it's, of course, evolved, and we have monthly initiatives. And now you're supporting the initiatives that we're supporting this month, which is Campaign Zero, United Negro College Fund, and the Fair Housing Alliance. So it's just, again, just making it super easy for people to be able to donate.
So it's local.human? How does it, where do people go for Local Human?
So localhuman.co is the website.
Oh, localhuman.co, okay.
.co.co, we always have to emphasize that. And
yeah,
then,
that's important. Mm-hmm.
It's super important, because if you look up localhuman.com, you will not find us. It's localhuman.co. And then brand name's Local Human, and then the Instagram is local.human. So yeah, that's kind of all the different ways you can find us.
Who came up with that name?
So I will claim Local Human. The guy that I partnered with had a apparel company previously called Local Athletics. And we kind of just spun off that, and I was like, why don't we do Local Human? I think it's kind of self-explanatory, right? Like, everybody's local to somewhere, and obviously we're all human. And what better time to have a name like Local Human than with what we're going on right now with all these racial issues.
Okay, so I know you went down to Huntington Beach because you wanted to see the protests. I read about that. There's a picture on Instagram of you in Newport Beach, I think it says, right? Yeah. And then I know that yesterday you went up to West Hollywood. So tell me how this all evolved for you. Just take me back to where maybe you saw the video, and tell me.
Yeah, I think if we go back to the beginning of this, I think I was in a spot like a lot of them, like a lot of Americans were, and then I was very desensitized to seeing police brutality videos, right? So I don't think I fully understood, what was happening, what happened with George Floyd, and kind of what the bigger picture was. And then as time progressed, you couldn't avoid it, and I started to learn more and more about what happened to George Floyd. And then I think, like a lot of people, once I knew the details of it, saw the video, I kind of felt like, all right, this is kind of the straw that's going to break the camel's back. And then from that point, I started just thinking about how I grew up, thinking about, what my race story is, being Black in the South, thinking back through all those things. And I think it just came to a point where I'm like, you know what, I'm kind of tired of dealing with this. And you realize, like, as a Black man in America, I shouldn't have to deal with these things. And so that was kind of the journey, again, being desensitized at first, then evaluating everything and being like, no, like, we do need to address this. As an athlete, I need to address this. So it's kind of a weird journey, but I'm glad that I mentally am where I'm at now.
Okay, so I don't know if we can even, if it's even enough time to do on a little Zoom, but that journey from, okay, you saw George Floyd, you've seen others, whatever, that journey in this time when we've been home, what went on? Did you have emotions? Did you just think, or did you talk to people? What'd you do?
Yeah, I think it's just seeing people's reaction, and just some people, saying stuff about George Floyd's death, not caring about it, calling Black people that were uncomfortable with it and fed up with just the greater racial climate in America, acting like they were dumb for that. I think that's what kind of like was the catalyst to my personal frustration. And I wouldn't even call it frustration. I would say more so passion. But I think it was just the reaction of people, whoever it may be, that kind of, again, was the catalyst to the passion that I now have.
What were your emotions?
Just frustrated. I mean, it's, like I said, I was talking to Jerry Tillery about it, and the word that he used was exhausting. And he was saying how exhausting it can be as a Black man in society, to maybe have to act different to be socially accepted, to deal with some of the comments, lackadaisical racial comments that people make, like it's okay. Um, and I think like again, exhausting is kind of the word. The emotions are frustrated, exhausted, and then now very passionate about trying to get it to a place where we're not dealing with these same situations.
So with those emotions, I know that you wanted to go take a look because I read this, that you said this, I wanted to go see it for myself, some of the protests. So tell me, what's the first thing you did?
Yeah, so I mean, this is no doubt a part of history. 2020 will be in the record books or in the history books for so many different reasons. And I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to see with my own eyes what was going on. I wanted to feel these emotions. And I think, like you mentioned, the Newport protest, going to that protest in particular was really kind of changed the way I thought, because growing up in Georgia, being so used to dealing with racism and negative racist energy, seeing 99% white people screaming Black Lives Matter, little kids with, entire white families holding up signs saying Black Lives Matter, was kind of like a shift in my mind. Those are the things that I saw, and I was glad that I saw, and kind of the things that I wanted to see, face to face. And that was kind of like the reason for wanting to be at these protests.
What was the shift in your mind?
Yeah. So again, being from Georgia, I have I would say it's a very unhealthy view on race, because I was just so used to dealing with people of the opposite race that were racist, right? And again, you become desensitized to it, and in the back of your mind, you make a lot of assumptions. And then when you go to this protest and you see like very just like Southern California, Newport families that, again, 99% are white, holding up Black Lives Matter signs, it definitely changes the way you think. You don't assume things as much when you see those types of families doing that. And again, I'm definitely thankful that I was able to go see these families, these little kids, and these people that were my age but look different, caring about what's going on.
So what happened with the Chargers? Did you guys have a meeting as a team? Did you just contact some of your teammates?
Yeah, so the process to get my teammates in Hollywood with local human to support protesters was just very organic. I had teammates reach out to me that said, hey, we need to do something. What can we do? Trent Scott was one in particular that was like, hey, what can we do to start to make moves? From that point, we created the shirt, created the infrastructure again for people to donate and get people involved. But that was kind of what started it. And then even before that, Anthony Lynn has been very vocal in this whole thing. And I have so much respect for Coach Lynn. He's such a leader, and I appreciate, his stance with everything that's going on. I think it empowers his Black athletes, especially, to stand up and feel like they have a voice. But just the whole team.
He is such a powerful speaker too. He's really that emotion, right, that he brings into it. I'm going to talk to him tomorrow morning, and everybody is. They're doing a Zoom call, and I'm looking forward to it. He was so upset. There was a story in the paper, right, that he was like, I don't want to just put out a nice statement. I don't want to just say something nice. What did he say to you guys, or what has he said to you that empowered you?
Yeah, and well, what he said to us was a question, right? So he asked us, what do you guys want to see? What changes do you want to see? I think he understands his position. He understands the types of conversations and the types of people that he can talk to and those conversations that he can have. So he wants to be as accurate of a voice for people our age as he possibly can be. So the conversation was very open. Again, what do you guys need? What do you think I need to say to these people? And again, that's what I appreciate about him. He's not opposed to or against having these conversations with us that are very open. So, like you said, he's such a leader. I think he's done such a great job in dealing with this particular issue.
Was this kind of team-wide? Was it a whole team meeting, or did you talk to him sort of in little groups? How did this happen?
Yeah, so we talked to him. He popped in our D-line Zoom session. But like I said, he's a leader. He's been popping in every single Zoom session, hearing from everybody. And like you said, kind of with his quote, he wants to deal with these issues head on. He's very comfortable popping in the Zoom and saying, "Hey, what do you think? What do you think?" And again, I think it's one of his best qualities is his ability to be a leader. But his approach was just popping in different Zoom calls.
So, all right, back to you, Trent Scott. Who else?
So it's me, Trent Scott, Justin Jackson, Forrest Lamp, and Trey Pipkins.
All right. So this was sort of organic. You started texting each other or something and said, we're all going to go up to West Hollywood? Tell me about it.
So I like I said, I initially talked to Trent Scott, and he was like, bro, we have to do something. And I said, you know what, we got Local Human. We'll create the infrastructure. Like I said, the platform, we'll get that going. We'll get a GoFundMe page to pay for some of these supplies. And then we rented a bus. We got a group of about 15 to 20 people, brought them up there and just started handing out waters. But, because of the guys that are on our team and kind of the climate that we have, again, it goes back to what Coach Lynn has created. Guys are open and willing, and they want to come help and participate in these things. So go ahead.
You set up shop up in West Hollywood, right? Where was it? Right along Santa Monica? Where'd you guys set up shop? And you were handing out water?
Yeah, Santa Monica Boulevard. I don't know what the cross streets were, but it was kind of at the end of the protest path.
Okay. What were your experiences like? The people coming by, the people coming to get water. What was it like?
Yeah, well, we had 13,000 waters, and we posted up, had these waters out ready to go, and we got there at about 10 o'clock in the morning, and we were waiting and waiting and waiting. And at one point, we were like, I don't even know if people are really protesting. And then one of the police officers actually was like, no, there's 50,000 people. And so we waited, and then we just saw a wave of people come, and literally for 45 minutes, 4 lanes wide, people were coming. And like I said earlier, I have never seen that many people in one spot other than a football game. And the thing that I think is really unique about it is I've never seen that many people with the same exact, goal of being there. Even in football games, you have people cheering for different teams. There's still a little bit of, a little bit of conflict there between, the different teams. But in this case, you had 50,000 people that looked completely different. And in this case, different sexual orientations, very different, all talking about the same things. And I don't know that I've ever seen anything like that. So that was really powerful.
Did you learn anything new? Did one person or one family affect you somehow?
Yeah, it's crazy. We pulled up our Local Human crew, and we were unloading these waters, and this lady came up, and she just goes, "Hey, I want to help you guys." And she didn't know who we were. She didn't know anything about us. And she literally helped us unload water and was like a leader in our Local Human group for the 5 to 6 hours that we were there. And it's just people like that. I don't know that
She was a stranger. She was a stranger.
Complete stranger. And like I said, I don't know if I'll ever talk to her again, if I'll ever see her again, but just the openness and the willingness to give back and to support people protesting was unreal.
Was that you do have a post on your Instagram with a lady, a white lady with blonde hair. Was that her, or is that someone you know?
No, it's someone I know.
Okay.
The post that I just posted, that's my girlfriend. And she was there supporting too. But this
What's
lady,
your girlfriend's name?
Allison.
Okay, Allison. So did they know you were Chargers? Did you guys have anything identifying that you were Los Angeles Chargers?
No, we didn't have anything in particular that said we were Chargers players. I just think like Trey Pipkin, for example, is literally the biggest dude I know. So people were probably like, I don't know who these huge black dudes are, but they have to do something. But people, as time progressed, people were coming up to us saying, hey, can we get a picture with you? And even like local news stations that were reporting were coming up to us getting interviews. But at the end of the day, that's what we wanted to show. We didn't want to be, overly aggressive, like, oh, we play for the Chargers, but we wanted to show these communities of people and the entire Black Lives Matter, movement and groups, that we are allies in this and we're a part of it, especially as a Black athlete.
Tell me from your process, right? So you watched the initial protest. You said you went through that journey. You went to, Newport Beach, Huntington Beach, and now you're at this point. Tell me what you feel now. What are your feelings now?
Yeah, it's actually crazy because, like I said, it's been me restructuring the way I guess that I view myself within this big, American picture, and I think I felt very empowered. As an athlete, I've always known that I have a voice, but even more now, I feel like I have a voice and an obligation. But I think the word is just empowered. I feel very passionate and empowered from everything that's going on.
What goes on? What's next? What goes on, Isaac? How does this continue?
Yeah, I think what you can expect is that millennials will not stop. I mean, I think it's I think people would say it's millennials' best and worst quality, that we will not stop. And I think that's what's really going to drive change. I think we're at the point where, we're going to have some serious leadership that's going to emerge, and then there's going to be some serious changes that are made. But in the meantime, I mean, for the last 2 weekends, you've had groups of people in LA, 50,000 plus. I think stuff like that is going to continue to happen. And again, that's what's going to drive change. And then from local human, we're going to keep grinding. I always tell people at the end of my career, I hope people say that, man, that dude, Isaac Rochelle, never stopped. So as for me and a local human team, we're going to keep grinding.
Okay, so your shirt says more than a post, more than a protest, more than a movement,
More than a trend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And I think
that?
Yeah. Say that again.
Did you come up with that?
This came up with by my partner Trevor, and I think it stemmed from people's frustration and the flood of posts, right? And even people's frustration with people protesting but not taking serious action. So what we wanted to do is, again, create this platform where by buying this shirt, you are now taking action. You're donating to 3 different organizations just by buying this shirt. Because at the end of the day, it is way more than a post, movement, trend, protest. It is about taking action. Like I said, changes need to be made. But again, it can start as small as buying a shirt and donating money to these different organizations.
I learned something from you just now. And what I learned was what you said. When you went out and you saw whole white families and it was 90% white, I didn't ever think of it through your eyes or through somebody's eyes who are Black. I never thought about seeing the white people support you would change something for you like that. So I learned that from you, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because I feel like the communication is so important.
It is.
Right? So we can't be afraid to talk to each other. Hear from anybody from the Chargers? Have you talked to Coach Lynn? Have you talked to anybody? Do they know what was it the 5 of you did?
Yeah, the Chargers have been really good about staying involved in what we're doing. And we're organizing stuff moving forward, roundtables, things to really start having these conversations with leaders on our team that care about these issues. But, like I said, the Chargers were there. They were getting coverage, kind of putting pictures up on social media. And again, all that is super important. I think it shows that we are allies in all this. White players on our team, Black players on our team, mixed players on our team, it doesn't matter. We're showing up and trying to contribute in any way that we can.
Okay, so let's take this on to football. Do you want to talk about football? Are you okay with talking about football a little bit with this, what this is going to look like?
Yeah, no doubt.
Because, right away, I don't know if it was the second day or the third day in, I thought, oh, all the athletes I cover, this is hitting everybody hard, right? So I started texting people about it. And I know it's going to continue on into the season. Yeah. So what does the season look like for you? What have you talked about with your teammates? We could just reach up and pick fruit and talk about kneeling. But I want to know, right? Because that's how I felt. I just want to roll my eyes, right? Yeah. But I don't know if that's where the players are. Where are you in terms of how this looks for the NFL?
Yeah, it's you bring up such a good point. It's like the kneeling thing, I think, for a lot of players is like, okay, we're talking about kneeling. Like, I feel like we've now created a scene and like the atmosphere to talk about these issues. So kneeling is a piece of that in season, but I think a lot of guys are going to be focused on action. I think guys like Trent Scott, who's calling me saying, bro, we need to do something. We're going to be sitting in the locker room like, what can we do? What can we collectively do to make a difference? So I think it's going to be way more about action, you know, just in my circle of friends on the D line. And like I said, Anthony Lynn, I mean, guys coming up with like action plans of what to do. Nobody's talking about kneeling. Reporters, like you're saying, they love asking about kneeling. And I get it. It's something to talk about. But in our circles, we're talking about how can we meet with, you know, police, like groups of police and talk about that. How can we create things like Local Human that are giving money to these different organizations? You know, kneeling is just kind of like a byproduct of all this stuff, but it's way more about action.
I so appreciate you so quickly getting on with me. I'm going to use some of this tonight. I'm hoping to use some of it on the weekend, but to use plenty of your interview, I'm hoping that we can put it on a weekend show. I'm sure I'll use plenty of it in other places, but I immediately saw it and went, 2 weeks ago. I was out of town last week. I went to see my family. I've been here by myself for the 8 weeks, you know. I had to go see my family.
Yeah, I'm going to see my family at the end of the month. But, you know, I really do appreciate you reaching out because what I always tell people is like you reporting this story and caring about this is going to make a massive difference. You know, if people see this shirt just from this, we sell X amount of shirts, like that's dollars donated. So it all matters, and I really appreciate it.
You know, Isaac, I'm always here for these stories. Well, oftentimes when we get into the season, we're talking to you guys so much about games and who you're there. We love the opportunity for this. And I've told several players, anything at all. You send me a message. Even if you think it's small, it can fit somewhere in my work. I think it's important. And I think that the opportunity to show that leadership is so important to people. They need leadership, right?
Yeah.
So even examples, you know, people being examples. So that's good. All right, awesome. Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you want to add that I don't know about?
No, I think you were asking all the right questions. So again, I really appreciate it.
No problem. I'm going to look for video. There's a little bit on your Instagram. I'll look on these guys. They probably have, let me make sure. I have Trent Scott, Justin Jackson, Trey. Who else did you tell me? Forrest
Lamb. I can see about sending you some stuff. A lot of it is just kind of B-roll of us like unloading waters and stuff.
But that's what I need. Yeah, you guys should shot it in your phone. Send it to Rod.
Yeah, okay. I'll send it to him.
Yeah.
And we'll make that happen.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, awesome. Good luck. If you need anything, let us know. Thanks. Your hair looks good. I saw you did the post. You're like, my hair, should I cut it? No, I like it. No.
I'm over it. I'm so over it, but.
Oh, I know that happens. I get the same way, but
I'm going to keep trying. It's staying.
Okay, talk to you later. Thanks a bunch. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, see ya.
Okay.